Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Neck. We've got live tournament action coming at you right now on MLG's Metalopolis, ToxLonely vs. Enzymes. This is a ZvZ. We are in the semifinals of ALT-jun11. I am super excited for this matchup. These guys are going to be going at it. And I do have Shakoi casting with me right now. Shakoi, you take it from here for just a moment.
Alright, thank you, Mac. Welcome. Like he just mentioned, this is going to be a very interesting match, especially since I played Enzyme, and he destroyed me. And then I've played ToxLonely on a daily basis on practice, so I've seen both of these people play, and I've experienced how both of these people play, so I'm kind of curious to know exactly which one is better, which one's faster, which one knows the race better, so very exciting.
Right, and it is that mirror matchup which can be very, very fun, and especially because it's ZvZ, I mean, we can see some serious fireworks. I think of all the mirror matchups, this one is by far the most exciting. And just a little bit about the players. Enzymes is a master level player, very, very good player, and ToxLonely plays all the time, a very young man, and he is a platinum level player. But talk to me, Shakoi, you play with him a lot, so tell us a little bit about his skill level. I mean, how do you think he's going to overcome some disparity there in leagues to try and take a win in this matchup?
Well, ToxLonely has his own strategy, his own game style, if you will. He loves to multiple expand. He doesn't like to be harassed, and I would say he's a pretty good end game player. So it's going to be kind of interesting to watch, because if Enzyme is the opposite kind of game style where he likes to harass a lot or kill you mid-game, I'm not really sure how ToxLonely is going to react to that, because you've seen it versus Zerdcore. When he puts pressure on ToxLonely, ToxLonely doesn't play his game, but Zerdcore ended up losing because he ended up playing a long game with Tox, and that ended up, well, we already know the results.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good point, to mention though about Enzymes, is when we have seen him play, he's very, very good at judging where his opponent is in the game, and knows when to make moves, which is probably one of the reasons he's made it into the Masters League.
Definitely.
I mean, he's definitely got some skill there. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to come down to Tox's ability to scout his opponent, and you can see he doesn't really know what's going on in his base. Of course, neither does Enzymes. Well, Enzymes just actually got out of there, but he doesn't really know what's going on in his opponent's base yet.
I should say though that ToxLonely should be the most prepared, because one of his good buddies, NC Laserboy, played Enzyme and lost.
Yep. I'm
good friends with ToxLonely, played him and lost. I mean, those are two players that he is close with that have played this opponent. So he should have, a very good report on what Enzyme might do, or what he can at least expect from him.
Right.
So with that knowledge, I'm just curious to know what he plans to do.
Yeah. Well, when you can see him moving out here, this spine crawler is going to be finishing in time, it looks like. So I'm wondering what Tox is going to do with these 6 Zerglings against these spine crawlers. Looks like he is going to be backing out with 5, picking up 2 more, and going to be sticking around here. Now, is this what you want to see from Tox at this point?
I mean, it's still too early to tell. I mean, he loves to harass early with Zerglings, but he's not really a Zergling heavy player. So yeah, I think he got that queen. That's always nice, and he at least slows him down.
Right.
He's got his he's got his first expansion going, so that's always good as well.
Right.
As far as I know, Enzyme will probably play more of a defensive game and then go in for the kill mid-game, especially like you just pointed out those Banelings, so it's curious to know.
Yeah, the Baneling Nest is going up for Enzymes, and as we see here, Roach Warren for Tox, so very different tech directions here right now. Interested to see how that's going to play out. And the Roaches are pretty good. They're a really robust unit, actually very good against Banelings, I would say. Not the best, but I think out of the Zerg, it's probably one of the best, wouldn't you say?
I agree. I just want to point out real quick that ToxLonely, it probably doesn't seem like it, but he's way behind, I would imagine. I mean, Enzymes already has 2 queens. He's rebuilt his queen. He's got larva. Um, ToxLonely just got his 2nd expansion up. He doesn't even have a queen at that expansion, so I mean larva is going to be very slow.
Yep.
So I mean it's interesting.
He is a little behind that way. He is slightly ahead, however, in the harvester count by 5, which is not tons, I think, at this point, but you know, every little bit makes a difference. And now we have banelings coming in here, looking like they're going to try and make it up the ramp. One of them does, not going to be able to do much with one. He does get taken out right away by those roaches. Oh, and there goes some of those drones. But he's still droning up. If you look at the units tab, he is still 26 to 21. So while he lost, I think 5 there. Let's take a look at Control R. He did lose 6, so he created 6 at the same time.
And it looks like Enzyme's going to keep the harassment. I wouldn't be surprised if he turned some of those Zerglings into Balings and did it all over again.
Yep. I agree. I think that is probably exactly what we're going to see here. Here comes some more reinforcing. Tox coming up here to check, scouting around to see if he can find Zerglings. Is going to see him. But here they come. No banelings in this mix, and Enzyme's going to be backing out immediately. Sniping these 2 that are just a little out of position now.
That's smart. I think those roaches could have taken those Zerglings down, so...
Yeah, very good play. I mean, I think he's really, really good at judging what armies can take on what armies. That's what I think I found most pleasing about Enzyme's playstyle in the matches that we've seen, which we haven't seen tons, because usually they only go 2 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we've had 3 games so far.
Oh, we've had several actually this tournament.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think we've had 3 or 4. I think 4. I'm actually pretty sure now that yes, we have had 4 matchups go to 3 games, and that is always fun.
I think that goes to show how evenly matched most of the players are in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm surprised, and it's interesting how many people are 1 or 2 leagues apart from their opponent and still able to put on a very, very solid game.
Enzyme was supply block for just a moment there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting to see, isn't it?
I wouldn't expect that from a master, but...
Nope. So he may have been focusing a little bit on his forward position there, just too much. And look at this, he is taking another expansion behind his forward position, but now if you look at the sight of Tox, I mean, he has got great map control. Enzymes is okay, he does have pretty good sight around his opponent's base, but I mean, when it comes down to it, Tox is really keeping good control over this map at this point.
Yeah, I mean, so far, again, without harassment, ToxLonely can play his game, and that game style that he likes to play is very good. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to push out a 3rd expansion right now, because it's getting towards that time slot that he feels comfortable doing that.
Right.
Looks like Enzyme is already way ahead of him. They both seem to play a similar play style. I mean, Enzyme's got at least a little bit of D that he is set up at the beginning of the game, but I mean, ToxLonely started his as well. But they're almost mirrored in the sense of what they're doing, other than looks like ToxLonely's going Infestors, and I'm not really sure what Enzyme's doing yet.
And you see that there, we had Enzyme force the cancel on that expansion of Tox.
So that's fine. He's going to send roaches up there, probably to... Actually, I'm not sure. I would imagine he's in his mind, he's definitely thinking, I have to get that expansion.
Right.
So he's going to have to do some sort of harassment or something to get that base. Ooh, out of position.
Mm-hmm. So that drone going down. Enzyme is being very, very pesky with these Zerglings, really holding him back. And do you think that this is playing with Tox's mind right now? I mean, do you think he's so committed in his mind that he's going to make a mistake off of this?
I'm sure it definitely is. It's causing him a little bit of panic, I think.
Right.
I mean, for one, these Zerglings are going to see everything that he's doing right now.
Right.
But I believe he should be able to get that expansion up right now, especially now that he's flushed the Zerglings out.
Yeah. So pretty well played there. He almost got those Infestors in position for a fungal growth.
Oh, it
that
looks like
would have been tons of fun.
an attack.
Yeah, I think so. I think he is going to be pushing out here. He's going to have to wait for those infestors. They are super slow when they are not on creep. Kind of like the Hydra.
This is going to be interesting.
Now, that's a pretty decent sized force, and the supply count is favoring Enzymes at this point, and he is producing Banelings and an Overseer. Ooh, fungal growth. Oh, so good placement there by Tox. He's going to want to keep that up. Another fungal growth going down. Pretty stinking well done. He is really doing a lot of damage to this army.
Definitely not a killing blow, but I mean it definitely keeps Enzyme on the defensive. So
yeah,
I'm surprised he's not expanding off this attack though.
Well, he does have the +1, attack for his roaches, that missile attack. And I agree. I would have liked to see him expand behind that. And I mean, if you look at units lost, though, I mean, Tox ended up coming out the loser in that by not by too much. I mean, this is definitely not putting him out of the game, but I mean, he did lose a little bit there, and I'm trying to figure out exactly why. I mean, those fungal growths seem to be very well placed. I think it just came down to Enzymes had a lot more roaches.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree with you more. And it just comes down to timing, and it's why Enzyme is a master player.
Right.
I mean, ToxLonely should have expanded off of that, but now he's expanding way too late, and by the time he does that expansion, well, now the counterattack comes, and Enzyme will just, quickly take that out, which he just did, go back to his base, doesn't have to worry because he's delayed another expansion.
Exactly. Yeah, and so he's methodically picking Tox apart, but I mean, we've got to give props to Tox. We are 16 minutes into this game, and Enzymes has not, and he's definitely been scouting, he has not found an opportunity to come stomp his opponent into the ground. So Tox putting up quite a fight.
Yeah, and it's smart that he went infestors. I think he expected roach play, but he's got to get another expansion. I mean, even right now, he's going on for an attack. There should be an expansion going down.
Yeah, and Enzymes taking the gold. It looks like Tox is going to be able to force the cancel on this. Catching some of Enzymes' units out of position there, not bad. But I mean, if you just look at the unit count alone, Enzymes getting nearly maxed out. That is a lot of roaches there.
That is. I think this is game.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be able to demolish Tox's army here, even with all the fungal growths. Oh, they're softened up pretty good. Oh, look at that, burrowing the units. Pretty clutch there. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, all those roaches are super weak, but you know what? It does not matter. He has kept them alive. And I mean, Tox is in a lot of trouble right now. This counterattack is going to go very well for Enzymes.
It is a master player. I mean, you have to expect that.
Yep. And he is at +1/+1. Tox is at +2 for his missile attack. But, I mean, when you're outnumbered, sometimes that doesn't matter as much to have a little advantage in the attack. You know what I mean?
I agree. And with that extra base, I mean, he's grown up so much.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be GG here. There it is from Tox. Very, very well played by both of these gentlemen. Enzymes taking a very convincing win. Fantastic fun to watch. We are super excited for the next game. That's game number 2 in this best-of-3 matchup. We'll be going to that. Thank you, Shakoi, for coming out and casting with us. Thank you guys for coming out and watching. We'll see you guys next time.